I don't think High Guard is gonna be a bad game. I just think it's a victim of its positioning at the Video Game Awards. I mean, it's literally the one more thing before we get on and see the best game of the year announced, and you come on and you give us High Guard. Now, there's nothing wrong with this game by any means, except there's a few things right off the bat I want to get off my chest. The makers of blank argument, I need that, or marketing scheme, I need that to be done away with right now. I do not care about if a game was made by such and such makers. If you want to put a name behind it, like they do with Metal Gear Solid and Kojima, I guess that can sell more copies. But if we're talking about getting people to play your game, I think hearing Titanfall as a buzzword, which is all it is, right, is not gonna get people to say, "Yeah, I'll give this game a shot." Especially when you come to the room not with a trailer, you come to the room with full gameplay. You come to the room with a release date that's 7 weeks away. Not even a beta. Not even a thought of trepidation. I feel like there's a confident game in here or some very good hype beasting. It's really how you want to take it at that point. All that is speculation. But that little part I didn't like. Another thing I didn't like about the trailer, it seemed a little confusing and fast. I think when you have full gameplay, I think just showing some of a match is enough. That spot is for something like, I don't have any gameplay. I brought no gameplay to the Video Game Awards. You know what I mean? They have a fully functional game if they're releasing it in 7 weeks. Please give it a more longer look of a spot. Show us a full match. Show us the developers showing off their passion of like, oh, okay, this is how the game is supposed to go during the match. Explaining, hey, how you can become one of these guys who play this game on a regular basis. Because people like simplicity. You know, it's a shooter and it has animal powers. Baldur's Gate, for example, it's a story-based game. D&D's always been about the story. The combat is just a vehicle for you to tell stories with your friends. You know, same thing. The being in that spot is extremely about simplicity. They'll be like, oh man, the creators of Naughty Dog made this game. The only reason that worked last year is because Naughty Dog made The Last of Us, you know, as a game studio. That's literally a franchise. Just how good that game was. They sparked franchises that made millions of dollars just off of that one IP. And yes, that's could be seen as nuanced. It's not. It's a totally different thing. Think about it. Titanfall is literally a game that doesn't exist anymore for the most part. Titanfall 2, and it really wasn't the main attraction for a lot of gamers during that time. I mean, Call of Duty was stealing a lot of its hype. Let's be honest. Um, well, Last of Us, nobody was stealing its hype. There was no better story mode game. There was no better, you know, they had a whole TV show based off of it. There was no better game in its genre. So it sticks out in people's minds like, man, I really miss Last of Us. I I know there's people who miss Titanfall. I get that. But you're gonna drop that line for a game that has nothing to do with mechs? What are we doing? Makes no sense to me. That's why I don't like the creators of blank. At least with Baldur's Gate, you say creators of Baldur's Gate with Divinity, right? Because it's Divinity's probably going to be a similar game to Baldur's Gate, guys. It's probably going to be a very similar game. So, story going to carry the day, and the combat is going to be secondary because that's how Divinity was. Yeah, they had combat. It was fun. I liked using adrenaline, but and the interactions on the battlefield. But at the end of the day, it was very simple. You're playing Divinity to play a story. If you played it. Titanfall. You're playing Titanfall for mechs and shooting. That's it. Arc Raiders right now. Shooting, looting. It's very simple concepts these games are built on. And it's usually based around the gameplay. Especially for multiplayer games. Very few times a multiplayer game is about the gameplay. And about the story. And here they are. They have a multiplayer game with the gameplay. Not a lot of let's be honest, the games they announced at the award show have. They brought their homework and they present it like they have nothing. It makes you look suspicious. It makes you look like you really aren't passionate about what you're doing as a game. You got to rely on these cheap tricks like these quick hitter trailers when your game comes out in 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks, but 7 weeks by the time of the Video Game Awards. And that's a really reason I do not like. I'm guilty of this. When I'm watching a video, I'm looking at the comment section. You know, I do like that. My dream for this channel is to have a comment section that you can look at. Because that's what I do. I just listen to people talk and look at their comment section. But the reason why I bring that up is, why is the discord about this game is how bad the trailer was when it has gameplay? That's a fault of they didn't understand what they had, and that makes me think the game ain't gonna be good. That's a bad thing to come away from a trailer, that you think the game is gonna be bad or generic. Generic is bad in 2025. Being generic, being like everyone else, is bad. Simple as that. Being running the bill, having the same opinion as everyone else, not being a contrarian because you don't want to be just disagreeing for the sake of it. If you truly have something different to say that enlightens people, and calling your game revolutionary as a raid shooter, which, guys, this has to be that this is a new genre, right? Like, I don't like how many raid shooters there are. There must be, something they're trying to get off on people. But to be fair, not many people really care about the genre of the game. They just see the trailer. They see gameplay. It would have been better if you just would have gave this game to streamers to play early. Because I hated that with 2K. Because 2K is like a established franchise. This game isn't established. I don't care how many times you say it's the creators or something. It's a new IP. Why not let creators just play it like on a private server for the 6-week period and let them figure it out and see if they like it or not? I think Arc Raiders is something similar. Just let them play it. And let them hype up your game. Because you already did the work. Why even put in the spot where we're hyping games up to the nth degree? Makes no sense to me. One last thing that doesn't make sense to me about this whole high card thing is that when I would look at video games genres like a shooter, and I'm noticing the evolution of it is turning more towards getting away from the physics of like the gun, or maybe even like the powers, and it's the spectacle of the game itself. Like, things are falling down, things are in the environmental, kind of like a Godzilla movie. I remember there was a game on the Xbox where you could, environmental destruction was like a big deal. I would like some clever gameplay thrown in there if they don't mind, at some point, where you can be like, hey, you could put a trap down someone, old school Claymore in Call of Duty, man. I I really miss the thinking man's strategy of sitting in the corner and waiting for someone to rush in because they forgot everyone is armed with a gun. Everything's so like wide open, willy nilly. Don't care about your life shooting, for the most part. Uh, you got some examples like Tarkov and stuff like that, but like, you know, games that took a section, which I also noticed, a section of Call of Duty, like maybe like Search and Destroy or like Team Deathmatch, and they made it into full games. That's why it's like it was so cool when the Battle Royale genre came about, was because it wasn't a subsection of Call of Duty. Call of Duty absorbed that into their thing because they thought it was such a good idea. So I kind of want like more like good ideas, and maybe High Guard is that good idea. They, if it is, they didn't really make it the central point of the trailer, and like the whole point there was to really bring that to your attention. They did not make the new thing the central point of the trailer at all. Whatever the new thing is, like in Fortnite, let's say if you were making a Fortnite trailer, you'll put the building, especially if you got the game base. You put the building in there. Maybe some skins like Ichigo, like that you just dropped. That's the appeal of the game. You're shooting, you're building, you're doing something different than H1Z1 back in the day, or any other battle royale you play. Yeah. So I guess in closing, I think the game has a potential to be good. I just unfortunately think when you fail that bad at a trailer, it is exceptionally hard in big 2025 to come back and actually be a factor in the video game industry, because people will bury you the second your game shows any type of weakness, and it's free content. And the one thing people love in 2025 is free content. They love watching it, they love making it, because it's fun to trash on something since the dawn of time. I just hope they can come back. I'm gonna play it because I play all the free games on PlayStation. I hope they can come back and make a good run at it. Because they're the makers of from the creators of Titanfall, Apex Legends. They know how the game goes, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's a different department that does the marketing. They say they're a small team, because he made a very big point of that, saying he already played the game. Why not some footage of the dude playing the game? I don't know, just something like, not as the ending segment, but just in the middle of the show, maybe throughout the show, of him playing this game. I don't know. If you wanted to make it a focal point, same seconds, could be like 5-second intervals. There's an idea. I'm not just going to complain about something. I'm going to give you an idea to start off with. Maybe just show the footage of him playing the game, if he played it. Probably would have been better. With that, y'all stay lit, my fellow illuminaries. And when I say illuminary, I mean just always keep thinking and not letting people put thoughts in your head, man. Just come up with your own ideas, and then you can argue them, or you can change them if someone else says something good. But start off with an idea. Don't be a blank slate. That's weird. Don't be weird. It'll be easy.